first card is Cadena's? Cadena's Silencer. First thing I see is a Naga Wizard.
Mm-hmm.
That's not super evident. I mean,
it's a weird, almost
ghost-like.
Yeah, like it's like a watercolor,
but
very muted.
Yeah, I mean, maybe she's trying to hide, but that's
right.
not wizardy. That's more rogue.
And the whole background behind her is as well.
It's kind of distorted. I think it's like the sun coming through either leaves or water. But then if you look, you can kind of see her arm is coming through something.
Right, and the trees around her are dead.
Yeah, so the leaves doesn't make sense.
Right.
Yeah, and then, like I said, her being a Naga is not super obvious.
Right, you can maybe see some scales under her arm.
Yeah, and her tail is hidden by some of the trees. You could imply it. I guess that kind of works.
Yeah, I mean, I'd give it like a 2.
Yeah, its art's not super great. It's kind of, there's not a whole lot going on. There's a person there.
Right, I mean,
not a whole lot of
you
detail.
can only tell it's a Naga from the actual text line. I don't think I'd be able to pick it out otherwise.
Yeah, I don't like the art very much. Flavor-wise, first thing I see, no flavor text.
No flavor text. That is immediate, like, you cannot go above a 3, maybe even a 2. Without flavor text.
Unless it's a really special
Unless
taste.
they hit you in the face with the art.
Yes.
You need flavor text.
And the name can do a little bit, but not this much.
This name doesn't really help. Cadena's Silencer. And when she turns up, you encounter all abilities your opponents control. Which is, I mean, she's a silencer.
So that kind of plays in. I like that feels like it works. Is Cadena one of the characters in this set?
I am not 100% sure.
She probably is, but this, I mean, normally when I think Nagas, especially ones with Morph or Mega Morph, I think of Tarkir, because that's where we see them. Cadena's not anyone I recognize from the Tarkir sets. I don't care for this one much at all.
No.
Art-wise, you said, what, 2?
2.
Okay. Flavor-wise, what do you think?
I don't know. I'd give it a 1 or maybe a half. What are you leaning towards?
I'd say 1 just because I like the silencer and counter abilities. I mean, and I suppose you can figure out that it's a Naga, so that's something. I don't like the wizard part.
Yeah, I mean, sure, it's blue.
I'll give it a solid 1.
Alright, so that brings Cadena's Silencer to a total of 3.
Tied for last.
Tied for last with 2 other cards. That is not doing super hot.
Yeah, no.
Alright, our next one in blue is Leadership Vacuum. Now, any card that can put vacuum in the name, I think should get bonus points.
Okay, we'll keep that in mind as we look at it. Alright, so first thing we see is somebody clearly trying to hold on as there's a vortex opening behind them.
Right, vacuum.
Yeah, makes sense. Art-wise, there's a lot of blue. But I like, you can kind of see the vortex has a life of its own with its color, and then you can see the kind of storm it's making. I love the different hues of blue. It's not all solid in one color.
Right.
The art, I mean, the stones itself, there's a lot of detail. You can see that it's kind of slowly emanating the blue as it's being pulled in. But also just the detail, like I said before, you can see the small pebbles. I said that about a different card, but I love it when they put in those small pebbles that just give you a scale, but also so much detail.
Right, and there's like little blue lightning tendrils that are like wrapping around things and pulling them back. That's pretty cool. Flavor-wise, it's a leadership vacuum, and it looks like it's sucking a random sort of monster into the vortex.
It does.
Not really a leader. Also, I don't see the rest of his army, which is being referenced in the flavor text. The flavor text reads, "While they scramble to fill the sudden vacancy at the top, we strike." From Cedrus, the Traitor King.
So maybe not an army per se, maybe like just a town.
Right.
But also, this guy doesn't look like he's leading the town, especially not way out in the middle of nowhere.
Exactly.
Which is where it looks like we are.
The flavor text I like. While they scramble to fill the sudden vacancy, we strike. I like that. This seems like it should fit on an assassin card.
Yes.
Not this. I like the leadership vacuum and the effect that it has.
Yes, that works very well.
That is awesome. But the art, no.
The art's just no. I don't like it. It just doesn't make sense. This guy being in the lead?
Right. It almost seems like it should be on blink of an eye.
Yes,
instead of this.
That is a good idea.
Right. It's great art. I do like the art. I think it'll get a high score. But on this card, I don't see it.
Yes. And also, if it's a leadership vacuum and it's particularly about picking up the leader,
right?
Why are so many of the stones being destroyed and being lifted up?
That's true. It doesn't destroy artifacts.
Yeah. It just seems like it's pulling up everything and they happen to hit the leader.
Right.
I don't like the flavor of it. Let's start with the art, though.
Okay, the art I really like. I'd give it a 3.5 or a 4.
Okay. Are you going to do anything about having vacuum in the title?
That will go into the flavor portion of it. I will give it an extra half in the flavor portion.
All right. Flavor-wise, what do you say?
Flavor-wise, it's just a mess.
It is.
Parts work, parts don't.
It's all over the place.
I would give it a 1.5 and then an extra half for vacuum to make it a 2.
If they had different art, it'd score a lot higher.
It would score so much higher because the name and the flavor text and the ability work really good together.
They do.
The art just tears it apart like a vacuum.
Alright.
So that brings the grand total of leadership vacuum to a 5.5.
That's not terrible.
That's not
as bad as we dislike the flavor. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Our next card is Mass Diminish. What's the first thing that you see?
The first thing I see is a really big nose.
That is true.
I am just drawn to this guy's nose.
If he can diminish things, why hasn't he done that to his nose?
Why didn't he fit? Maybe he was experimenting and it went wrong.
Oh, I like that. All right.
Also, I noticed, I believe it's a rhino, and then a quill feather. I love the glow from the rhino. More blue in blue, lighting things up. I like the glow that it has. You can see there's moonlight or something coming from outside onto him.
Moonlight, yeah.
And the blue from the things that he has diminished glowing everywhere. And then over on the left-hand side of the card, there is a different kind of light from the candles.
Yes.
I do like that. There's all kinds of illumination going on, and it worked really good together. Also, there's all kinds of different animals. There's a giraffe, there's a rhino, there's an elephant, there's something in another jar.
I think it's a bat.
I think it is a bat. Why would you diminish a bat?
Yeah, that almost looked like a bigger bat than what it
really
was.
Yeah. So
I feel like, though, they could have had a really cool mingling of, like you said, the candlelight and the blue.
Right.
Instead, they just had the candlelight in the background.
Yeah, like it's here and this is there.
Yeah,
but it is cool.
Contrast.
Right, yeah.
Alright, flavor-wise, I would just like to point out, it appears to me that the giraffe has a unicorn horn.
That is true.
And the elephant has 2 tusks. So these are clearly not your average animals. Either we're on a different world that has really weird ones,
right?
Or he's done something else to them.
That is true. And the bat is larger.
Yes.
And the flavor text I really like. Transformed from brute to cute.
See, that makes perfect sense with the rhino, and maybe that's just that he's just talking about his current thing.
Oh, that's true.
But when I think a unicorn giraffe, I don't think brute.
Okay, what about an elephant?
Yes, an elephant can be considered a brute. So it's 50-50. I'm willing to accept that he's just talking about his current project.
And it works well with the ability of it turns something into a 1/1.
Yes.
I do like that. Only for a turn, I wish it was either an enchantment or it mentioned something in... I don't know how they would mention temporary in it somehow.
What do you mean?
Because it turns it into a 1/1 for one turn around the table.
Oh, okay.
And it doesn't really seem to reference that anywhere.
Yeah, this will last longer than normal.
Right. If he's going to lock a unicorn giraffe in a jar, I hope it would last longer than a turn around the table.
Yeah.
So I wish they had mentioned that somehow.
Okay. I would like to point out that it's very flavorful that it doesn't take away their abilities.
Right.
This giraffe still has its unicorn horn. It
That's
can
true.
assumedly still do things, even though it's much smaller.
True. And that's referenced in the text because it keeps its abilities, etc.
Yes. Now, before we get to scoring, a super side note, if you look way up in the top left corner, you can see another glass jar with something in it. You can't quite tell what it is, But this seems to tell us that this guy has some experience with what he's doing, that he's done it before.
Yep.
Although the thing looks dead, which is a whole other story in and
That's
of itself.
Completely different.
But anyways, let's get to scoring it.
Alright, what do you think?
I really do like the blue that's all coming in, and the color of it is just well done. Like I said before, I would like to see some mixing of the blue light with the candle, and maybe some melding. We don't get that, it's blue with the candle.
Yep.
But aside from that, overall I really do like the art. There's a lot of nuances.
Yeah, it's nice looking.
I'd give it a solid 4.
Yep,
4
I'd
out of 5.
agree. I like it. It's good on the art side, and I also think it's good on the flavor side. It has flavor text, so that's always good, and you can see mass diminish, small creatures, the flavor text rhymes. I like that.
Yeah, that's extra points.
I dislike how the creatures don't stay small, and it appears in the picture that they do stay small. So I think I'll give it a 3.5 out of 5.
Okay, that's pretty good.
Yeah, pretty respectable.
That brings a grand total to 7.5?
7.5 out of 10.
That's pretty good.
That's a
one
good
of our
card.
highest scoring. Sudden substitution. So what do you see going on?
A weasel?
Yeah,
and 2 scary hands with a divide that almost goes from corner to corner and is doing something to the weasel?
But also the weasel's not fully formed. It's
right.
Still kind of missing a few things, mainly a tail is what I think.
Right, and it has like weird blue tattoos over its fur somehow.
And it's being surrounded by a blue swirl.
Right, and a purple swirl.
Yes. On the other half of the tear lightning strike,
which
should be noted, those are all on the split second cards. All split second cards have that.
What's going on with the face or the eyes? Are those
in
eyes
the background?
In the background?
I was just thinking the exact same thing. I almost feel like it could just be part of the background. And then it's not actually a face.
Right, but then the hands
it could just
really
be like
big.
Yeah, it could just be like this, or is it like this?
I
don't know.
I'm not sure. I do like the hands because they're making sort of arcane gestures, but they're just really big.
Looking at the flavor text, bow before the might of... Wait, what? I really like that because it... First off, it's slightly funny.
Right.
I like the magic starting to dip its tone to being funny again.
Yeah, exactly.
But that would imply that the person who's doing the real things with his hand is calling it. But so then, where does the person who's switching it come in?
What I think maybe is happening is the thing with the hands is summoning a non-creature spell.
Okay.
And then
what's a creature?
Is summoning a non-creature spell, and then split second, boom, the lightning bolt comes through, and he has a creature now.
Okay.
Because that's kind of what the card does. You can switch a non-creature spell and a creature. So he's doing a non-creature spell, and now he has a creature.
Okay.
Now he has a small weasel instead of his powerful, whatever, leadership vacuum he was going to summon.
Okay, I actually really like that. That ties it together. Aside from one thing. Bow before the might of... What was he going to say?
Right.
Generally, I'm bow before the might of this creature, not bow before the might of my lightning bolts.
That's true. It should seem like he is summoning a big creature and is instead left with...
Tiny weasel.
Right. But it shouldn't be a weasel. It should be a small non-creature spell. So, I don't know how that works together. The art and the name and the ability on the card all work really well together, but the flavor text needs to be reversed.
Yeah.
Saying, I'm casting this, oh no, now I have a creature.
Yes. As for just the art itself, ignoring the flavor, it's a lot of blue, but it shifts to purple. I like that.
Right. There's a lot of just black in it.
Yeah, I would like to see a lot more in the background.
More illumination. There's a lot of glowing going on, and it's only getting his hands.
Yes. And like I said, it's not clear where the body is, where the hands are. Like I said, I do appreciate the lightning bolt, just referencing split second.
Right.
The weasel, you can see all his hair, which is nice. That's great detail. But overall, I'd only give it 2.5
for the art.
Yeah, 2.5 for the art. It's not super impressive.
Right. Flavor wise, I think I might give it a 3.5.
Okay.
Because I do think the card is mostly tied together well, and if you look into it more, it doesn't fall apart more like some cards have.
Like Leadership Vacuum.
Right, exactly. Leadership Vacuum started off cool and then kind of fell apart.
Yes.
This one started off kind of and still stayed kind of but it didn't fall apart. So I think a 3.5.
Okay.
Which would bring the grand total to 6 out of 10. It's not too bad in the middle of the pack.
A little bit better flavor text, and it'd be much higher, I feel.
Right. Alright, our next one is Thought Sponge.
Yes.
I love the art on this.
I love the name on this.
Yes, but no flavor text. We'll get to that. I do like the art because it's a nice blue glowy thing, you know, like it looks like a sponge. The only thing is there's a starfish attached to it. Is that...
I thought it was its head. I'll be honest, I'm not sure how sponges work.
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, normally sponges are supposed to be yellow and really annoying, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Anyways, it's still referencing the art itself. I love, you can see the surface, you can see the waves,
yep,
and the light coming down.
through it. That's really cool, like illuminating the sponge.
Yes.
Like, look at me. Like that.
Some background scale fish.
Yeah,
I mean, it's hard to put background in water.
Right, but they did a pretty good job of it. You can see the coral underground and a few fish on the outside.
Yes.
And then the blue through the light through the blue waves. I like that.
And it's still clearly about the sponge.
Right.
Is it a sponge, though?
I don't know.
Let's talk about it.
It looks, the head of it, the body of it, I'm not sure, looks spongy and squishy, but it's blue. Which, I don't know what color sponges are supposed to be.
I don't even know ones are in the bathtub.
Right, exactly. And then it looks like there's a starfish on it. Is that normal for sponges?
I was going to say an octopus.
I'm not sure. It almost gives off a weird magic octopus or squid vibe instead of a sponge.
Yeah, I'd agree. I mean, I understand sponge, it's absorbing things.
Right.
But it absorbs something, it absorbs equal to the number of cards your opponent has drawn this turn.
And then it oozes it back out when it dies, and you cut it open.
But it doesn't actually affect what your opponent draws. A sponge, it picks up the water, it gets the water, but the water leaves.
That's true.
It picks up strength from cards, but it doesn't do anything to the cards you drew.
It looks at your opponent's bathtub and sucks up from a different one?
Yeah, that's what it seems like.
And then it's like there's 3 bathtubs. There's your opponent's bathtub, your bathtub, and then another one.
That has something?
It looks at your opponent's bathtub and then takes from the mystery bathtub and then puts it into your bathtub when you sacrifice it and cut it open in half when it dies. You slice it open and then it gives you the mystery water.
That's cards? I don't know.
I'm not sure.
I'm very confused as to... I wouldn't say it's a sponge. I really wouldn't.
No.
Flash. What do you think about Flash on this creature?
It's ridiculous. Why would you put Flash on a sponge? When you say Flash and you say on a creature, I do not think sponge.
Especially
why would you ever think sponge?
Yes, especially one that looks this bloated. This
right,
isn't going to sneak up on you.
This is such like a big fat sponge. Why?
Yeah, where's the fastness?
Right, it's not, he's not moving fast, there's not air, water bubbles going past it like he's streaking past the screen. He's not sneaking up on a fish or a mystery bathtub. He's just big fat sponge.
That's there. And
right, Flash, it doesn't make any sense.
No, I mean, I realize you have to do it, otherwise you're not going to get any value, but no. Flavor-wise, no.
Right, flavor-wise, never.
Okay.
So flavor-wise, I mean, I'd give this thing like a half.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense. There's a mystery bathtub. It's not taken from your opponent's bathtub.
It's a sponge?
With Flash?
Is this our first sponge, though?
It could be. We'll have to check.
Yeah.
I'd give it a half. It just doesn't work.
Okay. As for art, what do you say?
I like the art. It's a sponge. I like the blue in the waves. Why does it look like an octopus? Half of it looks like a sponge. If you cut this part out, if you cut out the
head.
the head or the feet. I'm not sure.
I don't know how sponges work.
If you cut that part out, it looks like a sponge. I like the rest of the background. Nice background for underwater. But then you look at the other part of the sponge, and I'm like, what? So I mean,
good. Wait, what?
I'd give it a 3.
Okay. Yeah, I can agree with that.
So a 3.5. That's our new lowest, I believe.
No, our lowest is still 3.
Lowest is still 3. Oh,
yeah.
right. This would be above it. It's still not good.
Yeah, I don't. It's just the head. The head and Flash are the biggest problems. And Sponge, okay.
Right.
It's got a lot of problems going on.
Right, it does.
Right.
It just
Let's just move on. It's kind of terrifying to look at.
What is our next card?
Our next card is the Wall of Stolen Identity.
Okay, so this is interesting. The art, okay, it looks honestly kind of bland.
It's not much. Is the wall the blue thing, or is the wall the castle behind it?
I'm willing to bet the wall's the blue thing just by the flavor.
It's a shapeshifter wall, so it makes sense that it's the thing in front of it.
Yes.
Right?
But honestly, the colors, you've got a gray castle, a blue wall, and green grass. And that's pretty much
That's it. And it's not even like the luminescent blue that pervades through the picture like we've seen before. And the character in front of the wall isn't doing anything. We're not zoomed in enough to see what's going on.
It just lacks all detail with the character himself.
It's just a grass field. There's nothing happening.
Yeah, it's kind of disappointing, honestly.
I am more interested in the castle behind the shapeshifter wall than the actual shapeshifter wall itself.
Yes, I can agree with that.
And going to the flavor, now on the flavor side, there's no flavor text. Many minus points for that.
I'll never learn.
It's supposed to be a wall. I don't see a wall. I know we're going back to this. I still don't see a wall. I see a blue shimmering force field.
Yeah.
It's almost like a sci-fi force field. It's not
yes,
a
it
wall.
does look a lot like that.
What is it shapeshifting into?
We can assume the character,
but you don't see it at all. Where do you see it congealing into a person? And okay,
kind of see a little bit of like a head popping out.
Maybe if you squint. But my
look at it sideways.
My big thing with this card is it's a wall. It comes in and it changes into a thing, but it's still a wall.
Yeah. How does that work?
How does that work? Because you have one thing that is now many things. It's not like it makes multiple copies of it and they all have the wall ability. It takes one thing and makes all of it the wall. Does it like stretch it over the entire thing?
That'd be rather grotesque.
That would be super weird. I don't know what this is supposed to be doing.
And then it still has defenders, so
it still has defenders.
It's clearly still a wall that can't move.
Right.
It's supposed to be something else. It's supposed to be a small.
It doesn't work. And what if it copies like something with flying? I know there have been flying walls, but a wall with trample. What is that? What is that? There's no sense in that.
Yeah, I really don't like it.
It's not copying this thing at all. There's a giant castle behind it. I think it's fine.
Yeah.
This card just makes absolutely zero sense.
Yeah,
There's no flavor sense. The art is boring. I hate this card.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and review the flavor. I'm going to give it a 0.
A full 0.
There's nothing to it. I can't even tell, like, combining the art and flavor score a little bit, I can't even tell what the actual wall is. There's a castle behind it. There's a shimmering force field that doesn't look like a wall. It doesn't look like it's combining into anything.
Yep.
There's no flavor text. It doesn't make sense that it's a wall and one thing and multiple things and defender. I hate it. It gets a 0.
Okay then. Yeah, I do have to agree with it. 0 seems appropriate. This card really doesn't make sense.
It sucks.
As for the art, maybe a 0.5.
A half.
Yeah, just because maybe there's some grass detail.
There's grass. There's a sun somewhere behind all the clouds in the castle, which is super interesting. Give me the castle. That card looks fun.
Yeah.
Who's the guy in front of it?
Yeah, make a card later that's the castle, and then with the wall.
With the shimmering wall in the background. Yeah.
No, don't bring the shapeshifter wall back ever, please.
No, it's horrible. So that brings Wall of Stolen Identity to a total of a half. Just a single 0.5.
That's the lowest score we've ever had.
I think this one will stand the test of time as the lowest for a long time. This is a bad card.
We hope you've enjoyed this.
And we'll catch you next time.
And we're back with the latest news.
Jonathan and Riley here with the news at 3:19.